Hello students, my name is Jesse George, your professional accounting teacher. Before you continue with this video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, The Georgian Theory Concept, and love my video, like my videos. Thank you. Alright, let's get started. In this video, we are going to consider this case study to demonstrate the concept of capital budgeting decision. Okay, now I want you to do me a favor by you pause your video and read through this question. All right, but I want to start with the requirements. Okay, now calculate the incremental cash flow arising from this decision to launch the product. Then we are to calculate the approximate internal rate of return of the product. Also, C says explain with reasons whether or not the product should be launched. Then we should outline the strengths and weaknesses of internal rate of return method based on investment appraisal. Okay, now let me give a quick summary of this case study. This is a profit statement that is based on accrual basis, that is prepared based on accrual basis, has been prepared by an assistant accountant. All right. Now, on getting to the table of the board of directors of Marton company, they were about to launch a new product. So this is an estimate of the statements of profits. A survey has been carried out, and they have already incurred 30,000. Then they discovered that from the estimates, the first year we give a loss of 17. The second year, we give a profit of 5,000. The third year, a profit of 1,000, and the fourth year, a negative or a loss of 8,000. So the board of directors were not happy about this, and a further investigation was carried out. Then it was discovered that the new product, will require the use of an existing machine. And this has a written down value of 80,000, but could be sold for 70,000 immediately if the new product is not launched. If the new product is launched, it will be sold at the end of 4-year period for 10,000. That is okay. But before I read this further, let's go straight to the question. Okay, so that this will not be read twice. All right. Now you will have a statement of cash flow like this. Then let me go back to Roman figure 1. It says the new product will require the use of an existing machine. This has a written down value of 80,000, but could be sold for 70,000. All right, so let's look at this first. The written down value of the machine is 80, but could be sold for 70,000 immediately if the product is not launched. So if we didn't launch the product, we have our 70,000. But if we launch the product, we will lose this 70,000. So the real cost of the machine is this 70,000. That is the opportunity cost. This 80,000 is a sunk cost. It has been incurred already. So if we accept the offer, we will lose this 70,000. And also, if we accept the launching of the product, it could be sold at the end of 4 years. Don't forget, the product is an existing product, okay? Sorry, the machine is an existing product. All right, so we have our cost of machine. The cost of machine is nothing but 70,000 and will be sold at the end of 4 years. This is the existing machine from the beginning to the end of year 0. That is a year. From the beginning of year 1 to the end of year 1, that is a year. 2 years, 3 years, and 4 years. It will be sold at the end for 10,000. So this is a loss. This is a loss. and that's the cost of the machine instead of the 80,000. Okay. Then number 2 says that additional working capital of 20,000 will be required immediately and will be needed over 4-year period and will be released at the end of the period. At the end of the period. So I told you working capital is always invested at the beginning of the year as an outflow. This is an outflow, and will be recovered at the end of the period. It will come in as an inflow. All right. Okay. Now, the next additional information says that fixed overhead is included. A figure of 15,000 per year for depreciation. Don't forget, depreciation is not a cash flow; it's an appropriation of figure, and 5,000 per year for reallocation of existing overhead. 5,000 per year. Okay, when you add these two together, we need to remove it from our fixed overhead. So that is 25 minus 20, and that is 5. So our cash flow overhead is 5,000. So we have fixed overheads. From year 1 is 5,000, is an outflow. 5,000 is an outflow. 5,000 is an outflow. 5,000 is an outflow. Okay. So the additional information is done. The cost of capital, of course, we are coming there. Then they said sales is an outflow. Is an inflow. This is an inflow. This is an outflow. Okay, the cost of sales. Then the gross profits. So we can pick this figure, the gross profits. Okay, so we can have, or let's start with the sales. The sales is 180,000. The sales for year 2 is 200,000. For year this is 160,000. This is 120,000. Okay. Then the costs of sales is an outflow. This is outflow. This is inflow. Okay. This is inflow. This is outflow. Okay. So this is inflow. This is outflow. So the cost of sales, of course, is 115 in brackets. 140,000 for second year. 110 in third year, and 85,000 in the fourth year. Then we have the variable overheads. Variable overhead is also an outflow. So variable overhead, we have 27,000 as an outflow. We have 30,000 as an outflow. 24 and 18,000. Okay, 24,000 as an outflow, and 18,000 as an outflow. All right. Okay. The market survey written off will not be included. It's a sunk cost. This is a sunk cost, so it will not be included in our calculations. All right. So let's add together. So our net cash flow. So the net cash flow, all right, is 90,000. That is the incremental cash flow. Okay, in brackets. So when you add this together from your calculator, of course, it's going to give you 33,000 positive. When you add this together, it's going to give you 25,000 positive. When you add this together, it's going to give you 21,000. When you add this together, it's going to give you 42,000. Okay? All right. Now, multiply by 10% discounting factor. This is discounting factor of 10%. And this is 1. This will give you 0.909. then this will give you 0.826, and this will give you 0.751, this will give 0.683. okay, then when you multiply together, this is 90,000 negative, then when you multiply, this is 29,997 positive. It will multiply, it will give you 20 multiplied by 650. When you multiply this, it's going to give you 15,771. When you multiply, it's going to give you 28,686. okay, then that is the present value. That's the present values. Now when you get the net present value, of course, is going to be a positive of 510,400. So when you add all these together and subtract 90, it's going to give you 5,104,000. So it's positive. All right, so question number 1 has been answered. Question number B, of course, this is the incremental cash flow. All right, this is the incremental cash flow. Then this is the present value. So for IRR, that's the right calculation of internal rates of return, which is IRR. And IRR is nothing but the rate that gives the positive NPV plus, open a bracket, the positive NPV minus the negative NPV multiplied by, open bracket, the rate that gives the negative NPV minus the rate that gives the positive NPV. Okay, of course, we need to have a statement. So to do that, the law says that when you have a rate that gives a positive NPV, we need a negative NPV. To do that, you need to increase this. All right, we need to increase this further. So the higher the discounting rate, the negative the NPV becomes. The lower the discounting rate, the positive the NPV becomes. Okay, if you increase, so now we need a negative. What do? We need to increase this further. All right, so to do that, you have year 0, year 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then we have our net cash flow. So our net cash flow, just repeat what is here. We have 90 in brackets. We have 33,000. We have 25,000. We have 21,000 and 42,000. Don't forget in naira, all these in naira, all these in naira, all these in naira. Then we can use 15% discounting factor. Okay, of course this is 1. So for 15% discounting factor, we have for year 1 will be 0.870, for year 2 is 0.756, for year 3 is 0.658, for year 4 is 0.572. Then when you multiply, we have 90,000 in brackets. When you multiply the present value, so the present value here we have 26,097. The present value here is 18,900. The present value here is 13,818. The present value we have 24,024. Okay, now we need to get our net present value. So when you add this plus this plus this plus this minus 90, you are going to have nothing but a negative of 7,161. So with this we have a negative, since our internal rate of return has been increased from 10 to 15. So with this, we can calculate our internal rate of return, which is the rate that gives the positive NPV. The rate that gives the positive NPV is 10. So you have 10 plus, open a bracket, the positive NPV is 5104 divided by the positive NPV is 5104 minus, open bracket, the negative NPV, which is the new NPV calculated, minus 7161 in brackets, multiplied by the rate that gives the negative NPV is 15. That's 15 minus 10. 15 minus 10. So the rate, internal rate of return is nothing but 10 plus, open bracket, 5104, open bracket, 5104 minus times minus is plus 1761. Okay, then times 5. Of course, this will give 10 plus. So when you add these two together, and finally the answer is, the internal rate of return is 12.08. So when you use your calculator to manipulate this, it's going to give you 12.08%. All right. Now the third question is,